What's good, y'all? Welcome to the Heat of the Moment podcast, episode 7. Before we get into the video, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you know every time I post. But hey, what's been going on in the NBA? We had draft day. We had a Chris Paul trade. So let's talk about that. Let's start with Chris Paul. So Chris Paul was on the Wizards. You thinking he might get bought out sometime during the season? We trying to see, hey, Chris Paul, what you doing, bro? Like, what you do? Like, it's getting bad. It's getting sad out here. Chris Paul, you've been on the stages where you were supposed to be the man and you didn't get it done, and you've been doing it for a long time. Now you damn near 40. Still no shit. Cast around the league. Started off with the Hornets, then the Clippers, then the Rockets, then the Thunder, then the Suns, then the Wizards. And now my boy is traded to Golden State. People are like, what is Golden State doing? I have no idea. But nah, I understand it. Let's break it down. So, Chris Paul used to be battling against, like, some would say you were the best point guard in the league at that time, pure point. Meanwhile, Curry's trying to come in and shape the league and change the league forever with his shooting. And ain't no problem with that. But it's like you used to be banging against Curry, and now you're about to go be Curry's backup. That's what I don't understand. Like, and when they're interviewing him, they're like, I see he talked to Curry. How was that? He was like, it was good. It was great. Like, short answers. What do they expect you to do? I guess I'm supposed to come here and win games. Like, my boy, I don't know if he's feeling it. It's like, Chris Paul's slow. Golden State plays fast. Like, I'm trying to see, can Chris Paul go do, like, what Curry, like, go run around picks and be trying to, I don't know. What I do think he can do is run the second unit. But this is why that trade had to be done. The whole CBA agreement is making teams get taxed for high payroll. So teams can't just pay for a ship no more. You can't just pay for a big 3, big 4. Like, it's going to come with a lot of costs, like $1 billion tax. So with Golden State, they got Curry on the Supermax. I think they got Clay on the Supermax. They got Wiggins on a slight contract. They had Jordan Poole on like a 120, 130 type of deal, 140. That's 4 people. And then they had Draymond. Draymond was like over on a $100 million contract too, but he just opted out of the last year. And you hear Dunleavy Jr., which is their new person in charge after Bob Sanders stepped down, and he's like, oh, I expect Poole to be here for another 4 years. That was a week ago. A week later, you see Poole's being traded for Chris Paul to the Wizards. And it's like, for them, they're thinking, we can win without Poole. We can't win without Draymond. And we can't pay Draymond cheap. We're going to have to pay Draymond $100 million if we want to keep him. There's no way we can have, for the next couple of years, Draymond, Wiggins contract, Poole, Curry, and Clay. Especially if we're not winning championships like we did this year. That's 5 people making over 100, like making over 100 mil, making at least maybe 25 to 30 mil a year. 30 mil a year. Let's just say 30 mil a year. With Curry making maybe 40 to 50 mil a year. And it's like, their tax is going to be crazy with this new CBA kicking for the new year. So it's like, for them, they were like, we got to bring Draymond back. But we know we got to bring Draymond back if we want to win championships. So if we don't bring Draymond back, we're definitely going into the lottery. So we got to bring Draymond back. But before we get to that, we got to cut our payroll. So they went and did this trade. They brought back a CP3 that's making 30 mil. But the thing is with that contract, this is CP3's last year. So after this year playing for the Golden State, they're going to play a crazy tax. Regardless, they're going to play a crazy tax this year with Poole or CP3 because there's just too many, especially if they bring Draymond back. So after this year, CP3's contract falls off. And they're able to just have 4 people with $100 million. They're still going to pay a crazy tax, but just imagine if you had 5 people making over $100 million, the tax would be crazy. So it's like after CP3's contract falls off, cool. They're just gonna deal with the 4 or however they deal with that. Maybe they trade Clay down the stretch. Maybe they trade Wiggins if they don't want to ship next year. It's like they're gonna cut costs if it's not worth it. But it's like with Poole there, like Poole was there. He just signed a deal, so it's like he was gonna be there making $30 million for the next 3-4 years. So that's why they did that deal. It's like they're gonna suffer either way this year with the payroll, but I don't think Poole makes them. Like, he won a championship with them last year, but Poole didn't have to go see John Morant. Or who they play this year in the first. No, he didn't have to go see Fox in the first round. Fox was killing whoever was guarding him. So last year, who they see in the first round, I think they saw Denver. There was no Jamal Murray. So this year in the second round, they see Anthony Davis and Braun. Braun was going to pick on Poole if he's on the court. He was unplayable. He averaged 3 points per game. Last year, who they see in the second round, John Morant. Or whatever, and John Morant was hurt. It was Desmond Bane and Marshawn, so it was like he was kind of bailed out. And then they saw Luka and Jalen Brunson in the conference finals. So I guess he could have been. I don't remember how he did in that season last year, but he's now in Wizards where he can make a name for himself, where he can be the star, where he can score as much as he wants. Will they be a winning team? I don't know. But CP3's now in Golden State. I don't know how they run that offense. Do they bring him off the bench as a 6-man running the second unit? Maybe the pace gets slower. Maybe they need him to just be able to get possessions rolling while Curry's on the bench. Maybe when they have Clay running around and he's maybe a mini Draymond from the point guard perspective, not defensively. Maybe if Draymond's on the bench, like you have one or either or on the floor at all times. Maybe sometimes some units with Chris Paul, and it'll be a bad unit defensively, maybe Chris Paul and Curry, but maybe it could work. We'll see how it happens. What does that mean for the NBA? Chris Paul to Golden State? Not much. Nobody's scared of Golden State right now. Like, I felt like their young boys were supposed to take them over the edge. Everybody is going to understand that their young boys are going to be the ones to take you over. And now, do you have patience for them? Maybe you don't. That's why you traded Wiseman. That's why Kuminga's still not getting buff in critical moments. Moody's not getting buff in critical moments. You have Joker that's over here killing in the West, but you don't have you have Looney. You don't have a Wiseman who was 7 foot that you just wait to develop, and maybe he can be defensively a problem against the Joker, or maybe make Joker work or bang up Joker. Nobody was physical with Joker this year. That was why he won a ship. Nobody made him work. But Chris Paul to Golden State, I don't know why, but I think maybe they traded Bill. The Wizards traded Bill away for Chris Paul and then turned Chris Paul into Jordan Poole. For them, they're like, okay, we're rebuilding. We're going to have to fill up our payroll anyways, but let's get rid of Bill's $250 million that he signed like an offseason ago. And we bring in Chris Paul and we'll waive him worst comes to worst. But then they were able to be like, all right, we got Poole for him, who's a cheaper bill, and he's younger and not as many injuries on his plate. And it's like, okay, we'll just start with him. And who knows if they bring Kuzma back or not. So it's like, I understand. Well, for the Wizards, it was cool. It was a good deal. And I think they also got first round picks for that. I'm not sure. I think it's also because they were taking on Poole's contract, and I think Golden State was really trying to get rid of Poole's contract. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on the picks, but I think Golden State gave them like a first-round pick as well. I'm like maybe 2. I can't remember. But that was that. So that was interesting. Chris Paul to the Golden State. We'll see how that team works out. I don't have them as top 4 or top 5 in the West next season, but I could be wrong. We'll link back around and see if I was right. But on to draft day. See, the thing is with drafts, back then I used to keep up with all these young boys coming in, but as of late, I don't really keep up with them. Like maybe last 6-7 years, I don't keep up with the young boys coming in. It's like, you got to show me your problem before I like go and give you any attention. Like Doncic, I'm like, who is Doncic? Now I got a Doncic jersey on. I'm like, who is Doncic? I'm not trusting any foreigner. They too soft. I look at it as they too soft for me. Not anymore. They're not anymore. Doncic, Joker, Gigi, they not soft. But I used to look at it like, y'all boys soft. Y'all don't like contact. Y'all like, but now them foreigners are coming over. So it's like, But everybody else, you just gotta show me before. Like Doncic, I wasn't you wasn't gonna tell me Doncic was gonna come in and take over. You gotta show me. But now I'm a Doncic fan. Same thing with Porzingis. Oh, I was laughing at New York Knicks, but he came and was a problem rookie year. I'm like, okay, you gotta show me. So with these young people coming in, I don't really know them. They gotta show me. But I saw the twins, Amen and Azir Thompson. That's pretty lit. Like two twins. Two brothers, twins in the top 5. That's lit. Amen went to the Rockets. Azir went to Detroit. So I feel like that'll be a good. Both those teams are young and growing. So it's gonna be hard for them to get their buff. Like I know Jalen Green and KPJ are there, and then I think they said Rockets had a good draft. They drafted Cam Whitmore. He was supposed to, I think, be like a top 5, top 10, but fell to like pick number 20 to the Rockets. And it's like, I was a Miami Heat fan saying like, oh, let's draft him if he's supposed to be a top 5. And they said he's an NBA build, like he's ready to go, like, and he can play good D. Oh, fits perfectly in Miami, the culture. And he's getting dropped, so he's getting slept on. That's all Miami players who got slept on. So let's go. That's how I'm thinking, right? And we don't pick him. We pick up somebody called. He's a Hispanic boy, but they say I heard he's a hooper. He's like Javier. So I don't know. We picked up some Spanish dude from UCLA that be hooping, so I'm excited. He look like he gonna be a dog. We gonna see. We need scoring, so as long as you come in and help Jimmy score, help Bam score, I'm all for it. Like we got the D. We just need you to come in and be a closer. Like that's Tyler Hero. We need him to come be a closer. He was hurt for us this year, but that's that. But yeah. We saw Wembanyama go number 1. I think this whole lottery draft, everything was rigged. Like the year that Wembanyama, this extravagant, unique individual comes into the NBA is the year that Pop is number 1 seed. Like, especially he's from France. They had Tony Parker. It's like, hey, they had Tim Duncan at number 1. It's just like, it all seems fishy. But Wembanyama, we'll see how he does. Like, he's skinny, but I think he'll be a problem if he stays healthy. The thing is, will he stay healthy? Like, he's tall, he's skinny, he's going to be going up against big boys. But we'll see. I feel like he'll be a problem in this league, and then he's going into a good culture, and Pop is happy right now. Hopefully, let's see if they get right to work, or if it's going to be like another losing season. Maybe they don't make playoffs. Maybe they get right to it. Because I feel like they were decent last year, but Pop was just tanking them and sitting boys. But who went number 2? It was the Miller boy. He went to Charlotte. Number 3, Scoot Henderson went to Portland. Dame's telling y'all I'm not trying to run it with young boys. So we're waiting for Dame to axe out. Now they're being petty. He's listening to I'm going to Miami on his IG story. Jimmy Butler's jamming his music or whatever. Just getting petty, but they drafted Scoot Henderson. The GM saying he has no intentions on trading Dame or Scoot. Like, he wants to run it with this team. We gonna see what happens, but we gonna see Scoot Henderson. We gonna see the Miller dude. We gonna these are the boys. I think they didn't even go to college. They went to like G League, so they was already getting reps down there. But we gonna see how this plays out. There was a lot of other people that got drafted. Of course, I'll say the Spurs won the draft because of that unique 7'5" Wembanyama. So it's like we're gonna see how everything else plays out. It was a decent draft. Miami, they drafted somebody else, but trying to see draft night who kind of did anything special. Like I saw Dallas drafted, traded, and got a center, but other than that, everything else was pretty. People were trading stuff, but it wasn't big enough noise or news for me to talk about. I ain't gonna waste y'all time. I'm only talking about the big things. So I won't even go too deep in the draft, but we're gonna see what these young boys talking about. I will say the young boys are coming faster than I expected and faster than a lot of people expected. So all these geezers, LeBron James, Chris Paul, all these geezers, even Jimmy Butler, you're 34, you gotta win now. It's a lot of geezers. And Harden, it's a lot of geezers. A lot of people that are on the tail end of their careers that you got to start winning. Like, you got to win now, and you don't have enough time to win rings. Maybe just a ring or one more or two more, unless you go join somebody young and ride their coattail. So I feel like a lot of these geezers, what's left is like, go find you a young dude that you can ride their coattail for the next 3, 4, 5 years and get rings with them. Because if you're trying to be the 1A on your team, you ain't doing it. Harden, you ain't winning as the number one option. Braun, you ain't winning as the number one option. AD, you ain't winning as the number one option. A lot of, even KD, I think he's at the point where he can't win as the number one option. I feel like Booker's the number one option in Phoenix, and maybe that's how they win. But I will say these young people are coming fast. They're developing fast. They're bouncy out the gym. Got jump shot, unique body, 6'9", 6'8", can facilitate, rebound, play D. Like, whole bunch of unique sizes and unique individuals. Doncic, you can't do anything about that. Like, you can't do anything about Joker. You can't do anything about Gigi. They're coming, and it's not a lot of time, but these young ones that just got drafted, they got about 2, 3, 4, 5 years to make some noise. So, but the young ones that are before them are the ones that are starting to take over the league. But this is all for Heat of the Moment podcast, episode 7. Again, y'all go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you know every time I post. And I will try to stay on top of my podcast, but I will be going to Virginia in a couple hours. It's midnight. I'm going to the airport in about 4 or 5 hours. And I will be in Virginia for a travel nursing assignment in mental health. So I will be getting the podcast in a different way. I'm going to see how I get it in, but I will be getting it in a different way. And tell me if y'all like my setup. It is a different setup. Shout out to my baby girl. She got the podcast. Tell me how y'all like it. Comment down below if y'all, rather than me in the dark with the lights up top, this is more bright. You can see me. Or maybe I'm dark. I can't tell, but tell me if y'all like my setup. This says on air. Shout out my baby girl. She did this podcast setup, and I'm rolling with it. But I'll holler at y'all again in the next episode. Till then, y'all be safe. Y'all be easy. All love. We out. In the heat of the moment, I know I can trust myself.